This is James Lutton for Round 8 Boxing. Delighted to join with Sam Rennie. Sam, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. Thanks for having me on.
No worries at all, pleasure. Let's start with your next fight. May the 30th, WBC Australasia Silver Super Featherweight title. How
That's
big
right.
of an opportunity is that for you?
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive. Obviously, I was a few people have said to me I'm rushing into quite a big fight, a big occasion, but I'm definitely ready for it. It's one that I've been asking for, and also more the situation of it. You know, getting this title can possibly have a big impact in staying in the country. So that's a bit of a reason why we rushed into it as well. But yeah, no, it's a shot I'm definitely ready for. I believe in my ability, and it's just going to open so many doors for me, for the future. I'm still only young, and I'm still doing my apprenticeship in this boxing. So I've got good people guiding me, but it's definitely a shot, a good belt to get around your waist, a good belt for the resume, and then we look at some more options for the future.
You mentioned there, see, it's very soon in your career. You're currently only 3 fights in, so your fourth fight is for this title. But as you mentioned, there is a little bit more sort of hanging on this rather than just a title fight. Uh,
Yeah, definitely.
need to win this fight to potentially stay in Australia and get your new visa, etc. So just tell me about that situation. Does that put more pressure on you?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Pressure. That's been the big word around this whole thing. I'll be the first ever champion from my country. There's never been a champion in the history of the Isle of Man, so I'll be the first one. So that's where the pressure started, and then obviously, like I say, winning the title is going to be a big impact on my visa and staying in the country. So, but like I was saying, I've said to my friends and my family, I'm not fighting the occasion. I'm not fighting the pressure. I'm just fighting the fight. It's just another fight. That's all it is to me. Yeah, there's things on the line and there's a lot of pressure with it. But at the end of the day, it's just the same as the other three. There's another man in there trying to beat you, and you just got to make sure your skills are better on the night and move on.
I mentioned obviously this is only your fourth professional fight. Your opponent, Alaman, he's got, I think, nearly double the experience you have. He's a lot more experienced in the professional ranks than yourself. Do you know much about him? Have you seen much of him?
Yeah, we've had a look. I've been sparring a lad called Richie Lockett, who's beat Aluman before. Aluman's no pushover in the slightest. He's got a 50-50 record in 10 fights. He's been the distance. I think he's been 8 rounds 3 times, whereas like I've not been past four yet. Um, so he's definitely got the experience, like everyone says. But I just know I'm so confident in my ability. I've watched things off him, and stylistically, it's tailor made for me.
How many rounds is this fight scheduled for? With it being
It's sorry, the lights just went off there.
that's all right.
That's just my coach leaving. I think he forgot I was in the building.
No worries.
Um, so the fight is yes, scheduled for 8 rounds. So like I say, he's been the 8 rounds before, and like it'll be my first step up. But I've been sparring 12 rounds there, 12 threes, 30-second rest with fresh opponents in. Having even top amateurs, the elite amateurs around Western Australia, they've been getting in and they're doing 3 rounds each with me. Four lads, 3 rounds each, so they're constantly fresh, and I'm doing 12, and the rounds will be no problem for me at all. I'm fit as anything. I'm still working full time as well. So I'm out in that sun for 44 hours a week, the Australian heat, and then training twice a day as well. So my fitness is no problem at all. And obviously, it's just the experience, knowing how to pace yourself and that. But I've got good people around me and good pros around me as well that have been telling me, giving me some advice and stuff. And it'll be another day in the office at the end of the day.
Well, I was going to ask you, mentioned obviously you've not been past four yet, straight into an 8 rounder rather than jumping to six. Um, in terms of your training, obviously you stepped up, so obviously 12 rounds of sparring and fresh opponents. Anything else changed in your training for this one?
Well, I left my work, didn't leave completely, just taking a lot of time off to focus 110% in this boxing. So I've been training 3 times a day. The strength and conditioning's upped its game massively. I've been going on twice as many runs. Like I say, sparring, even the level of sparring partners that I've been getting down is just top notch. Like you couldn't be asking for better. And like I say, the heat out here compared to back home, I'm always on the phone to my dad and my friends back home, telling them it's the high 30s. Sometimes it reaches 40. It's starting to cool down now, but they were laughing at me the other day because I was like, "Oh, it's freezing. I've put a hoodie on today," and they're like, "Oh, what's the weather?" I was like, "It's 30 today, Baltic," and they're all laughing at me. So yeah, it's definitely different from that end of the world, but I love it, and I've been loving, training full time and boxing full time, and that's obviously all thanks to my sponsors as well, backing me and looking after me, so letting me take this opportunity with both hands. You know how big the opportunity is, and it means the world to me. So to be able to step back from work and concentrate on boxing full time, it's potentially life changing. So.
Absolutely. And mention how vital that is. In terms of activity, how vital is that for you at this stage of your career? You only fought in March and you're fighting again now end of May. So you're straight back out, straight back in the gym, back into camp. How vital is that for you at this stage to stay busy?
Yeah, I think it's every boxer's ambition to stay busy, and no boxer wants to get inactive and rusty. Ideally, I'd like to get out so I'm getting out in May. I'd like to get out maybe another 2 or 3 times before the year ends. Like I said at the start of the interview, I am still serving my apprenticeship years, so it's important to just stay busy and obviously listen to my manager Tony and my coach Dan Rogers and listen to my team around me. They guide you, but stay busy and take good fights as well. Not just push over fights that you're going to walk through people because you never get anything from that. So I feel like in my first 3 fights, I've stepped up that little bit each time. From my debut as a lad we didn't know too much about, and he'd only had 1 fight himself, so that was a bit of a 50-50 fight on paper. Then we go straight from that into a lad who's won 3, lost 2, coming off the back of a win and coming off the back of a good knockout as well in Sydney a couple of years prior. And so again, couldn't find much footage of the fella, and just he had a winning record, a knockout positive record. So again, we thought, we were in for another bit of a tester. And then my last fight, we knew he was game as anything. He's been in with good opposition, good rising stars, and we knew he was game as anything. And then each time I've upped the level of opposition, my performance has gotten better. So, like I say, my last fight there, I got the third round stoppage. Everyone was telling me don't go out and look for the stoppage, which you hear all the time in boxing. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't looking for it. It was the only thing on my mind. So when I got the stoppage, and I just feel like the opposition keeps upping and my performances just keep getting better and better. So I can't complain, and that's what I'm saying. If I keep busy and I just keep upping the opposition little by little, I feel like in the next year or two, I definitely reckon I'll be ready for any big opportunity that comes my way.
You mentioned earlier, obviously, you're looking to become the first champion from the Isle of Man. Obviously, you are residing out in Australia, as we mentioned as well. Talk to me about the move from Isle of Man to Australia. What happened there? What was that for?
Uh, just a bit of a random decision, to be honest. I genuinely, I wish I had a crazy story. There's a lot of people I meet and they've got these crazy inspirational stories. Mine was I just woke up one day bored and I just booked a flight to Australia. I was saying to my mum and dad, I'm only going to be gone for a couple of months. I was 20 when I moved out here. No friends or family out here or nothing. I literally just woke up and decided I'm going to go off and see Australia. And then I was like, I'll be back in 6 months or something. And then the first thing I'd done when I got to Australia was walk into a boxing gym. And I was supposed to be taking a little bit of a break and just enjoying, a bit of your last bit of your childhood because boxing, it consumes your life. I've been boxing since I was 10. So never really had much of a childhood. So I thought I'm going to go away and party and go on holidays and live a bit. And the first thing I'd done was went to a boxing gym. So it didn't last very long. And then I just loved it, the lifestyle out here, met some great people. And then like I say, I met Dan Rogers and he convinced me to stay and he's seen the potential in me and he liked my vision that I had in boxing and I like the boxing scene in Australia. I feel like it's growing. It's definitely getting put on the map a bit more. Like there's a few world champions now and even the prospects in Australia. Like if you're on the UK side of things or the American side of things, you might not be looking at these lads, but I didn't think there was much talent out here when I got here, and it didn't take me long to realise that there's plenty of talent out here, and it's just a matter of time a few of us start getting noticed. So, I made the decision to stay out here, and then I don't really have any intentions to move back unless it was boxing related. If it was a good boxing opportunity for me back home, I'd go back home. I definitely want to fight back home though. There's never been a pro boxing show in the Isle of Man, so I would love to get me and my brother on double headlining a show in the Isle of Man if we can look at doing that next year or Well, yeah, as soon as possible. Maybe next year. I'd definitely like to do that. I'm going to speak to my manager Tony, and my brother's still back home. He's based in Liverpool, so if we can get a show on in the Isle of Man, again, we'll be making more history. It seems like that's all we're doing lately is just making history. So we're just going to keep at it.
Absolutely. I'll come on to your brother later. I've actually seen your brother fight. So we'll come on to it in a little bit. I just want to just focus still on this moving to Australia. You've made it sound like obviously you went out there, travel, party, lived the life. You got into a boxing gym, you found a new home. You've made it sound like it all roses, but I'm right I think I'm right in saying that it's not all been straightforward for you.
No, no.
There was a period of time where you was actually homeless out there. Just talk to me about that.
Yeah. I just it's hard. It's hard, moving to the other side of the world and you don't know anyone. I didn't have, like I say, I didn't have any family or friends, and I thought it'd be all sunshine and rainbows. And then everyone knows boxing is a tough sport, and it was actually just when I turned pro. I turned pro in Sydney under a coach Sam Baston, and we just had my pro debut. And like I say, I did something similar where I cut off work and I couldn't get any sponsors. I wasn't getting any sponsors from the Isle of Man. I wasn't getting any sponsors in Australia, and I was literally just trying to do what I can, like a few little PTs and one-to-one sessions, and just do anything I can to pay the bills. And then, but I was just so driven on my debut and getting this whole boxing career started. It just sort of consumed me, and I forgot about everything else. And then before you know it, I had my first fight, got paid peanuts, and next minute, 2 weeks later, I'm on the street looking for somewhere to stay. And then, luckily enough, I've met so many great people out here. A couple of years in Australia, a friend of mine called Amira. I messaged her and I just said like, "Oh, listen, this is the situation I'm in. I'm homeless. I'm sleeping on the street." I didn't want to tell my family because I was just so scared to think what they're going to think I'm on the other side of the world, homeless, and and like I say, I didn't ever want to come back. So I just messaged a few people. I've got some good people in my life, and no one ever wants to see you struggle like that. If you've got real good people around you, you'll always be all right. So, and I just stayed on a sofa, stayed on my friend's sofa for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then I actually used that little fight purse that I got to book a flight to Perth. So that was literally my very last penny got spent on a flight to Perth. And I walked in, I met Dan, and I said to Dan, "Listen, I'm homeless. I've not got a job. I've not got anything. I've not got much going for me." And he was kind enough to let me use the gym for a bit until I got on my feet. And then now I'm in such a great position. Like I'm living with friends that I box with, and we all live together. We all got the same vision. Everyone's training hard, eating well. We stay away from parties, and I just couldn't ask for a better position to be in life right now.
So you mentioned you wanted to go traveling. Essentially, the 6 months was probably the idea for you, then go back home. And then once you got there, never wanted to go back home. You're still now not interested in getting back, and you
Uh,
found a new home and a new life over there. But how,
yeah.
how difficult has that been to move away from your family? Obviously, you mentioned your brother boxes, so you've obviously grown up very close in the gym, doing everything together, and all of a sudden you're still doing the same stuff, but on the other side of the country, well, other side of the world. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there was three of us actually. My dad's got three boys. I'm the youngest of the three. Um, Eddie and Matthew, obviously, Matty. They're the two older ones. So we all boxed together. Yeah, like you say, we were in the gym every day, every night together. Coming home from school, going straight to the gym, and that was our lives on repeat. Really, I was a bit of a late bloomer, to be honest. I didn't actually start taking boxing serious until I started getting beat loads in the amateurs, and it started pissing me off. And then I was like, right, and I was looking at how good Matty and Ed both were, and I thought, right, I better step up a bit and take the sport seriously, and I feel like I did at that point. And then yeah, listen, it is difficult being away from the family. There's times I do get like lonely out here, and I think, oh, I miss them, but you speak to your friends, and everyone says the same thing. Oh, you miss your family, you miss your dog, but it's just such a good life out here, and I'm surrounded by so many great people, and everyone knows the situation you're in. They know you're not got a family, but like I said, I live with lads from the gym, and they've not got family. Like I live with a guy from Colombia, so he's the same, on the complete opposite side of the world. You're so many hours away from your family and different time scales, so you have to plan calls and stuff. And so we just become our own little family. We've made our own family out here, and but yeah, it's good. Like it's good and bad. There's the good things. You're living in a great country, great weather, training, you're meeting great people every single day, and the life out here is so different. Like people are waking up and doing gym sessions and beachside runs and morning coffees with each other before work. then going to work and coming back, and then you're training again, and there's always something to do. Whereas back home, I was waking up, looking outside in the grey weathers, rain, freezing cold, going up roofing with my dad, getting shouted at because I'm shy at it. And then you just think, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? So I definitely had no intentions of going back to live. I'll definitely go and visit. And like I say, I want to fight again. But yeah, I'm very happy here. I think I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life here. And a happy boxer is a dangerous boxer.
Absolutely. Talk to me about your brother. Matty, you obviously fights, a professional fighter. He's had a few more fights than you have. Um, I think he's been televised for his last few fights as well. There's been quite a few fights he's been televised on Wasserman, Channel 5, things like that.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about how much he inspires you, seeing what he's doing with his career, being televised, getting these big fights.
Yeah, definitely. Like he made the blueprint for, well, like I say, actually, I think the oldest brother laid the blueprint for us, Eddie. He made the blueprint. He was a brilliant amateur. Went to the Commonwealth Games, and he doesn't really get the credit he deserves because he walked away from the sport because he had a baby, two babies now, and so he doesn't really get the credit he deserves. But he was the one that got both of us into it, and then I think he passed the torch on to Matty, and I'm trying to take the torch off Matty now. But yeah, like you say, seeing him on the TV all the time, he boxed James Moorcroft a couple of years back on Channel 5, and obviously got the win there in an 8 rounder, boxed beautifully. And then that sort of got his name on the scene. I feel like Matty's been quite an avoided fighter as well. He obviously took the step up in the title fight there, a fight that I thought was closer than what he thought it was. I thought it was a close fight, and I thought definitely on another given night could have got the nods. Just a few little tweaks in his game, but he's went back since then, and he's looking well. Yeah, like you say, he's on what he was with Warren Promotions, on the zone, fighting on TV. So, and he speaks about that as well. Like when fighting on TV, going making that transition from small hall to TV and the bright lights and the interviews and Channel 5 and the zone. But at the end of the day, it's just still another fight. You're still in that ring, four corners, one man. That's it. So I'm taking that sort of mindset in with me as well. And yeah, he's always good. Obviously, he's older than me. He's a bit more experienced. So anytime I've got any questions about anything, or if I need advice or tips or anything at all, he goes over it with me, no problem. So he wants to see me do well just as much as I want to see him do well. I'd love to be at the top of the game with him, side by side. So that's yeah, we're in it together. Even though there's distance in us now, with being in two separate sides of the world, we both still love each other and we both still want to see each other do well. So we try and make as much effort for each other as we can.
Definitely. You briefly mentioned your manager earlier, Tony. Tony Selge, obviously, he's guided champions like the Maloney twins, Jason and Andrew, Chris John going back in before that, legend in the game. Talked about Tony and how much help he can be to guide you in your career.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's done so much for me so soon. Like I just sort of popped onto the scene out of nowhere, really. Like I just popped up with only one fight under my belt, and all I said was just let me have a dance in that ring, and if you like me, keep me, and if you don't, get rid of me. And he took the risk. He took a bit of a gamble. I think he liked my characteristics. He liked my personality. I don't think I come across cocky at all, but I definitely have a bit of flamboyant about me. But and people know it's just I'm a smiley guy. I'm a very happy guy. So, and I take that into the ring with me. So I had that. My first fight under Tony was in November, and I boxed very well across four rounds. Got hit once the whole fight, and then I said to him straight away, "Listen, I want to be busy, and I enjoyed working with him. He does a lot for his fighters, like you mentioned, the Maloney twins. Like he's got them fighting all over the world, Japan, America, and if I can serve my apprenticeship and then get them same opportunities, Japan, America, like I say, I would love to go back home and share a bill with my brother. That's a big dream of mine. That's on the bucket list, and he can make all that happen. He's a very good guy. He wants to see the best for his fighters, He wants the best opportunities for them. So he tries his best to do that. He's great. If you can work with Tony, if any fighter in Western Australia can work with Tony, I feel like if they've got the talent and he believes in them, they'll do it right for themselves.
Absolutely. Just finally, Sam, last question from me. Any message for your opponent, Alaman, before the fight?
No, no message. Just spit shine that belt for me. No, there's all respect. See, these lads. He's from Indonesia. These lads, they come over and they give it their best shot out here. And sometimes they nick a win, cause an upset. They're tough as anything. They're as tough as they come. and it's a bit different. I've mentioned a few times on different interviews that we don't have journeymen over here. Like the UK scene, there's no journeymen over here. People come in and just get paid to see out the rounds. These lads come and they really, really try and win because they know a good win in Australia can change their lives. So I have all respect for them. I would never want to discredit anyone. Anyway, no matter what level of boxing I'm at, even when I get to the top stage, there'll be no disrespect from me unless it gets personal with anyone. But I'm a respectful guy, and I would never want to discredit anyone. So I'm thankful this Alu man's given me the opportunity, and he's coming out here. He's going to fight me for the belt. I'm sure he's going to put on a good show. I'll put on a good show, and may the best man win.
Absolutely, Sam. Thanks for your time, mate, and all the best of luck.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, mate.